Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Southampton. Solskjaer said he's expecting to face a strong Southampton side, despite the injuries that Southampton have got. He's also given us an update on Phil Jones. Solskjaer also spoke about the online abuse directed at United players, and he also explained his opinion on the importance of footballers' mentality, well-being, and sadly. So, these were the questions that were asked to him during the press conference. So, let's go through it. This was the first one. So this is what I was asked. Another tight turnaround for you from Saturday night to Tuesday evening. What shape are you in? Will you have to freshen things up at all? Ollie's response to that was, apart from the wear and tear and the quick turnaround, everyone should be available. They're not injured anyway. It's just a matter of energy levels and see how they feel tomorrow. No new fresh injuries anyway. So that's good news. This was the second question that was asked to him. Have you had the chance to work on much in between games? Obviously the critical thing, getting back to scoring again quickly. Ollie's response to that was there's not been time to do a lot on the training pitch. The boys that played are still on their recovery track from Saturday night. But then they also have to prepare for tomorrow night, so it's right in between for them. So the session was light, but some of them scored a few goals. Of course, we want to get that mojo back. I think we've created enough chances to score the goals now. It's just about feeling good and taking a deep breath and putting the ball between the posts. So that was all his response to that one. This was another question that was asked to him. It seems ridiculous that after we talked about on Friday that I have to ask you again about the abuse of one of your players. No one is obviously going to defend the situation, but what practically can clubs do? Can the football authorities do to try and stop this from happening? So all his response to that was, I don't think this is just a matter of footballers or famous people that gets highlighted, which is, in a sense, it's good that we talk about it and we highlight it again, but it's unacceptable behaviour. It happens all across society. We'll work with the authorities and it has to be stopped. This way of discrimination on social media, we can't do a lot, can we? So we have to work with the platforms and got to be stronger to make sure that we stop this. So that was all his response to that, because obviously Marcus Rashford's just been racially abused on social media. Not so long ago, Tuanzebe and Anthony Martial were racially abused. This was another question that was asked to him. Do you think it is possible to stop it? Because social media companies would argue that there's some sense of discretion or hiding people's identities has to happen, because otherwise big corporations, even countries, can get hold of information. It seems like a vicious circle. All his response to that was, well, we all know life is freedom of speech, but this crosses the line of what is acceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable in 2021 with the education. You feel the ignorance that they show, you feel sorry for them. I always say we have to just help them, and sometimes you help people by taking away the chance of expressing themselves, especially when they're anonymous. So that was all his response to that one. This was another question that was asked to him. I'm hoping you'll make a late big signing because it's freezing here at Old Trafford. How happy have you been with the business you've done in terms of trimming the squad a little and also giving some of the younger players games elsewhere for their development? So all his response to that was, we've made decisions that we feel have been good for individuals and for us as well. With the young players moving on, James Garner, Tahith Chong, Tiedemann Menge, Facundo Pellistri, getting the chance to play more football has been important for us. Our group is a tight-knit group. We don't have too many players in excess, and hopefully Jesse Lingard can get going and do well at West Ham as well. Let's just go to the next question. This was the next one. The secret of doing well in the Premier League right now seems to be momentum. How many teams do you think are vying for this title? Is this the 4 that have broken away, or because of momentum and the strange season, can other clubs still win it? Ollie's response to that was, I think we should just focus on ourselves and take one game at a time and not talk about any title. Just focus on playing well and keep improving. We have improved a lot. For us, it's about getting the momentum back on and get performances and continue where we've been. So that was Ollie's response to that. This question's about incomings. Will there be any incomings today? Obviously, it's deadline day. Or can you rule that out? With Phil Jones, you've said he's been injured for a while now. He wasn't included in the Premier League squad. What are your plans for him? Will he be included in the squad? So Ollie's response to that was, I can confirm there will not be anyone coming in. You know, he's saying the exact same thing as he said earlier on in the window. Don't stay up late. Phil has been recovering from an injury, a knee operation he had, and he's working hard to be available again. So he will be included on the list, and hopefully he'll get his fitness back sooner rather than later and be able to play. So that was all his response to that one. So reflect on what he said. Looks like Jones is going to be staying for now. This was another question that was asked to Wally. You've obviously had a tough game against Southampton this season. They're a different side at the moment with the amount of injuries they've got, like I mentioned earlier. What are you expecting from them tomorrow? So Ollie's full response to that was, I expect a similar team that we played against. It's a strong 11. I know they have a lot of injuries. That's to be expected over the course of the season. With the football, they play high intensity, direct, loads of energy. They've just hit a moment with loads of injuries. When you get to that moment with players coming back and there's an injury in the squad and you have to come back too early. I've been lucky in that respect. I have a strong and healthy squad. I haven't had to risk players, and I rotated when there have been risks. There have been a few times where I've had to leave players out. We've been lucky in that respect. We haven't had injuries. Hopefully they can get theirs fit, because this season is relentless. So that was all his response to that one. This was another question. By your own high standards, it's been 2 disappointing results now. What do you want to see against Southampton that has maybe been missing over these 2 games? Ollie's response to that was, we want to keep on trying to, of course, dominate games. We feel we've dominated them, but of course we need a bit of brightness and spark in the last third. Take the chances. I don't really like to bring these up, but the momentum shifted for us with the Sheffield United game. Of course it did. I've got the delegates' report through from the referee, and both decisions were wrong. Their goal should have been disallowed and ours should have stood. That is a big momentum change for us. It's more likely when you go 1-0 up then 1-0 down that you can win that game. That's fine margins. It has been the way this season. Fine margins. You hit the post, it's going to go in or go out. That's the way it is all season. Sometimes you're lucky decisions, sometimes you're not. We just have to keep focusing on this game, do our job, and I'm sure the results and performances will come. So that was Ollie's response to that one. This was the second to last question of the press conference. You just used the word relentless. The games are non-stop. There will be no winter break Marbella, which served you so well last year. How do you keep your players focused and relaxed? How important is the physiological side of things right now? So Ollie's response to that was, the mental side is vital in football. It is, for me, the be-all and end-all. Happy players, confident players will play better, of course, they will. Life is as it is, the world is how it is. We know we're privileged to be able to come out and see each other every day in training and playing games. We're lucky in that respect. The mood in the group is good. They're bonded really well in training and it's a tight-knit group. We have 22, 23 players who will rotate. Of course, everyone wants to play. The more we play well and perform, the more everyone will be happy. We'll manage without. The sun will come out in Manchester one day, I'm sure. So that was all his response to that one. And this was the final question of the press conference. Amad Diallo-Traore really showed his qualities for the under-23s. And you've been talking about that he might get the chance to be included in the first team squad in not too long. Just how impressed are you with him and how far is he now from a place in your squad? So Ollie's response to that was, we're going to give him the time to really settle in and keep showing his skills, improving and get time to adopt to England and our way. If we go from that game, I would pick Joe Hugel. He scored 4 goals. He should have taken the penalty and got 5 instead of giving it to Amad to get 2. Amad has done well in training. He has good close feet. He will open up defences. I don't think it's going to be too long until he's involved in a match day squad. So that is everything that was mentioned in the press conference. Manchester United must get back to winning ways against Southampton. We are winless in our last 2 Premier League games. We recently drew with Arsenal 0-0 and we lost 2-1 to Sheffield United. Solkjaer gave his perception on that 0-0 draw with Arsenal. He felt as though that we had the bigger chances to win the game. But he said it was actually a decent performance by Man United. In the game against Arsenal, Edison Cavani had 2 fantastic chances, should have converted at least one of them. Rashford carved a few openings in that first half. But every time he got near goal, his decision making was poor, his finishing was poor, and his passing was poor. Rashford has been out of form recently, so he needs to get back to his best form. Bruno Fernandes has been a bit out of form recently. Obviously played against Arsenal. He did have a good chance against Arsenal. He was okay against Arsenal as the game went on. He did grow into the game. Wan-Bissaka also had a very, very good chance in the game against Arsenal. That just went wide. But Wan-Bissaka enjoyed a very good game against Arsenal. Defensively, he was good and he got forward well a few times. Fred was exceptional against Arsenal. He had a very, very good chance. Produced a good save from Leno. But also Arsenal had their chances. So, analysing it, you can say a draw was a fair result. We have set a new club record, reflects on that 0-0 draw with Arsenal. We are unbeaten in our last 18 Premier League away games. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. It was an abysmal performance though against Sheffield United. Obviously, lost that 2-1. That was Sheffield United's first win at Old Trafford since 1973. And it was just their second win this season and their first Premier League away win of the season. So like I've just mentioned, as I was going through what Solskjaer said during his press conference, Solskjaer has revealed that officials have admitted they made 2 mistakes in the 2-1 loss to Sheffield United. Obviously, Anthony Martial had a goal ruled out in that game, but there was actually talk saying that Harry Maguire shoved Aaron Ramsdale. The build up to Keane Bryan's first goal, it mentioned that Billy Sharp had pushed David De Gea. So if the decisions had gone our way, then you can say we probably wouldn't have lost that game against Sheffield United. But we have been very, very poor at Old Trafford this season. I think we've lost now, 5 games at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. Southampton, they've lost their last 3 league games, so they'll obviously want to get back to winning ways. The last time I looked, it said that Southampton were 11th. But I think Ralph Hasenhüttl has still done a very, very good job for them. Earlier on in the season, Southampton were very, very consistent. When they had Mauricio Pochettino, Southampton were very consistent. Mauricio Pochettino enjoyed a short tenure with them, but he still guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. I think it was 8th. We've got a good record though against Southampton. We haven't lost to them in our last 9 meetings. The last time Southampton beat us was 5 years ago. It was back in January 2016. They beat us 1-0 at Old Trafford. This game last season was 2-2 at Old Trafford. Obafemi had scored late on. We did beat them at St Mary's earlier on this season, 3-2. We obviously overcame a 2-goal deficit. Like I've said to you though, Southampton have got some very, very good players in their team. Obviously they've got Nathan Redmond, who's one of their key players. They've got Danny Ings, who's one of their key players. They've got Stuart Armstrong, who's one of their key players. They've got Bednarek. They've got Obafemi. They've got Che Adams. They've got Shane Long. They've got James Ward-Prowse, who's a good player. Vestergaard, they've got him, he's out with injury. They've got Kyle Walker-Peters, he's out with injury. Obafemi's actually out with injury, I think. They've got Salisu out with injury. Teller's out with injury. They've got Smallbone out for the season. Southampton have let quite a few players go in recent years. Cedric Soares left them. Holberg left them. They lost Charlie Austin. They lost Van Dijk. They lost Lovren. They lost Klein. They lost Lallana. They lost Mane. Liverpool have done good business with Southampton in recent years because Liverpool obviously got quite a few players off them. They also let Mario Lemina go out on loan. After Southampton, we do play Everton, and that's going to be another tough game. So Solskjaer has confirmed that, Man United won't be making any signings before this window shuts. He said, didn't he, that fringe players could leave before the window closes, and a few players have left recently. We saw Jesse Lingard leave. He went out on loan to West Ham. Odion Ighalo said his farewells to Man United earlier on this month. Timothy Fosu-Mensah left the club earlier on this month to join Bayer Leverkusen. We recently loaned Facundo Pellistri out. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been instructed to sell as many as 3 players to free up funds for a new centre-back. But yeah, during this January transfer window, we have been focusing a lot more on the outgoings rather than the incomings. So yeah, we'll be looking to make some signings in the summer transfer window. Ed Woodward must back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer transfer window, because I think the transfer window Solskjaer's enjoyed so far, he has not been backed enough by the board. Because, Solskjaer obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. But despite that, I still think he's made good signings as Man United manager. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Palestri and Amad Diallo Traore. Solskjaer has brought a few young players into the club, and I do like the way he has promoted the youth. This January transfer window has been Solskjaer's fourth transfer window as permanent Man United manager. But, Woodward has promised Solskjaer that he will back him. He said towards the end of last year that he'll back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. But the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. And I think we need to make more signings if we are to be genuine title contenders. I've already given you the 3 areas where I think Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a world-class midfielder, we need a striker, and we also need a centre-half. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda, like I've already gone through with you. On my recent video, I give you the news on Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig. His agent has confirmed that his client will decide on his future soon. Now, I think there's a few Premier League clubs that are interested in him. And Upamecano could make a move to the Premier League. It still mentions, though, that Bayern Munich are regarded as the favourites. He is Bayern Munich's top target, but Bayern Munich will have to probably see what happens with David Alaba. Upamecano is available for around £38 million at the end of the season, because that's when his release clause does become active. Fabrizio Romano confirmed our immediate plans for the player, and he said there's no chances of him leaving in this window. But he said he will be sold in the summer. He said the other week that Man United and Liverpool go head-to-head in the race for the player, and Solskjaer actually urged us to beat Liverpool to the signing of Upamecano. You already know the news on Sergio Ramos. There was narratives coming out yesterday saying that Sergio Ramos wants to join Man United and he's preparing to leave Real Madrid in the summer. He's going to be available on a free transfer because he's rejected a 2-year contract offer from Real Madrid. Ramos has been at Real Madrid for several years. He must have been there about 16 years now. He's won 22 major honours with Madrid. He's made over 600 appearances for them in all competitions. Madrid paid €27 million for him from Sevilla back in 2005. Sergio Ramos is 34, so we'd only get him for short term if he came in, but he'd go very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. You know the news on Jadon Sancho as well. Man United could get him for a bargain fee. Don't forget Dortmund are going to be forced to lower their demands, because it said Dortmund are expecting losses of around £88 million because of the coronavirus pandemic. Sport 1 recently said that Dortmund are relying on Jadon Sancho's sale. Woodward and Joe Glazer recently had a row over Sancho. Jadon Sancho, by the way, accidentally stole the captain's armband in Dortmund's game against Augsburg recently. But yeah, you know, Sancho was our number one priority target last summer. But yeah, like I say, I'm still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. You know, a couple of poor results, you know, isn't going to change my perception on him, because I think he has made very, very good progress at Man United in the last year or so. You know, of how good we've been in recent months, you know, I've been saying like Solskjaer's bringing the old Man United back. We have been getting glimpses of the Sir Alex Ferguson era, because we have come from behind in a lot of games this season. We do deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer, like I've said so many times, because he could have easily been sacked as Man United manager. But he's been criticised a lot as Manchester United manager. And, you know, Solskjaer is going to be given at least another season at the football club. I don't think Man United are going to win the league this season, but I think we'll win another title at some point. Maybe next season, maybe the next couple of seasons. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it for, 8 years now? Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy for 4 years now. And this is Solskjaer's second full season at the club, and he has been Man United manager for over 2 years now. And reflecting how long he's been at the club, he's gained some managerial experience. I still think there's things he's got to do at the club though. He's obviously got to make more signings, which will be the summer now. He's got to give Donny van de Beek more chances. He's got to identify his best 11. So there you go. I think there's uncertainty now regarding Solskjaer's future at Man United, because I still don't know if he is the long-term manager. Solskjaer's got to start getting his selections right persistently as well, I forgot to mention just then. Because he has been a lot of games where he's been tactically naive, but there's also been some games where he has showed tactical flexibility. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.